The women you're looking at appear no different than any one of us. Mother, daughter, sister, friend. But these ladies are more than just another face in the crowd. Although you can't tell just by looking at them, some of them are dying. Their days numbered, while others have already left us. The phrase "we take too much for granted" takes on a new meaning in this segment. Our special guests are Kelly Lange, past president of METAvivor Research and Support, and CJ Corneliussen-James, a co-founder and the director of advocacy for the organization, which is dedicated to the specific fight of women and men living with metastatic breast cancer. Ladies, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Now, I'm sure all of us know someone who has or had breast cancer. And in many cases, they went on to talk about how they beat it. But today, we want to bring awareness to a whole community of breast cancer patients who will most likely lose that battle. And practically no one who has had breast cancer is immune. Ladies, for starters, once again, and thank you so much for being here. Kelly, let's talk about metastatic breast cancer. What is it?
Metastatic cancer is cancer that has spread beyond its original origin and into another organ in the body. So metastatic breast cancer originated in the breast as breast cancer, but then has spread to a distant organ where it becomes deadly. So typically that is lung or bone or brain or liver, most commonly, but metastatic breast cancer can do whatever it wants, so there are no rules.
CJ?
If you know somebody who's died of breast cancer, they've died of metastatic breast cancer. It's the only breast cancer you can die from. Many people have never even heard of it, but it's far more common than you would think, and it's very deadly.
So there is no cure, obviously.
There is no cure.
Kelly, no cure, and it's amazing because with some cancer patients, you hear that they're at least fighting and trying to beat the cancer, but with metastatic breast cancer, you most likely won't survive.
That's right. In 98% of cases, this is a terminal illness. So we hope for effective treatments that increase our lifespan with good quality of life, but it doesn't always work that way. We continue to lose about 40,000 American women and men every year, a number that hasn't changed in decades. So the scariest thing perhaps is that 1 in 3 people with earlier stage breast cancers will eventually metastasize. Even stage 0 patients can and do metastasize. It can happen immediately, presenting initially at stage 4, and it can also happen 25 years later. No one is safe from this.
And I do want to tell my viewers, and before we go any further, I'd like to share with them the fact that both of my guests, Kelly and CJ, they both have metastatic breast cancer. CJ, can you share your story with us?
Yes. Actually, I retired from the Air Force after 24 years as an intelligence officer in 2003 and went later that year for my annual mammogram, as I always do. And at that point, they saw nothing. It was a clean mammogram. But 3 months later, I found a lump under my arm. So I went straight to the doctor, and I had stage 2 breast cancer. They rushed me into surgery, and I had extensive chemotherapy and radiation and went on a pill regimen. But in less than 2 years, I had metastasized to my lung. So it can happen that fast. Mammograms do not see all cancers. They sometimes miss them. And you can metastasize at any time.
Were you scared?
I was really terrified, and what became very clear to me at that point was that the pink community, as we sometimes refer to it, they are largely set up for stage 0, 1, 2, and 3 breast cancer. Metastatic breast cancer is a very different disease. They're not set up for it, and people are largely afraid of the disease, and they don't want to deal with people who have stage 4 cancer, so you are really isolated and alone.
Kelly, can you share your personal story?
Sure. I was diagnosed when I was 32. 19 years ago, and over the years I've had several regional recurrences in lymph nodes, and eventually it metastasized to my skin. I lately have enjoyed a relatively long period of good drug response, which I'm very grateful for. And while I will say that my response to my drug has been unusually good, The diagnosis at my age is not unusual.
Ladies, your stories are numbing, and I know there are so many similar stories out there. And these two ladies have so much more to share with us this morning, but we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear how they're managing today in spite of facing the ultimate death sentence. We're also going to discuss how you can help put this devastating diagnosis in the public light with the end game of saving lives. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We've been talking with Kelly Lange, past president of METAvivor Research and Support, and CJ Corneliussen-James, co-founder and the director of advocacy for the organization. And also now joining us is Lori Marx-Rubiner, president of METAvivor. All of these ladies have the deadly metastatic breast cancer, which means the cancer has spread from the breast to other parts of the body. As we discussed earlier, there is no cure for metastatic breast cancer, no cure whatsoever. Lori, let me bring you in. On average, when there is a diagnosis, what is the, I guess, the average lifespan?
So life expectancy is about 2 years, and that's from the time of a metastatic diagnosis. And I happen to have been diagnosed on a routine mammogram. Okay. My doctor, for whatever reason, her instinct was to do a baseline mammogram when I was 35. Diagnosed at stage 2 and underwent surgery and chemotherapy, 5 years of hormone treatment, and was doing really well, seemingly well, for the next 8 years. And then around year 9, started seeing some suspicious findings in my blood work and my scans, and was then diagnosed at stage 4.
I can only imagine, ladies, and Kelly, if you want to chime in, between everything you do, your personal activities, your busy life, your family, being a METAvivor lady, if you will, I guess it all helps.
It does. You know, between our treatments, we're able to do a lot of things. And as I've said before, I particularly enjoy a good quality of life. I'm very grateful for that. That enables me to continue my volunteer work and spending time with family and friends. But a lot of the side effects that we experience are really not visible, like sometimes crushing fatigue, or mouth sores, or debilitating pain that comes and goes. Anemia can be a problem that you just learn to live with.
You have to move forward. There's not a good alternative to that, but it is something that's always on your mind. You try not to dwell on it, but you're always alert.
Lori, keeping busy and doing what these ladies do, does it help you think of the inevitable?
I think that's always under the surface. It's hard not to live with that, but also, you know, we all, and I think most of the people we know living with stage 4 disease, live in spite of it and really want to live fully.
Kelly, let me ask you about the actual organization, the funding. Just tell me all about METAvivor.
Well, the word METAvivor really is a blend of the word survivor and metastasis. A lot of us feel that the word survivor doesn't adequately represent our situation because we won't survive the disease. So we coined the term METAvivor, one of our co-founders did, and founded the organization to fund research for metastatic breast cancer. So over the years, we started funding our first grants with events in our hometown. We started literally with yard sales and raffles, and now we're very grateful that people all over the country host fundraisers for us.
And no doubt the funding, I would think, is not as much as you would like to see, right, CJ?
That's correct. We could not find any place that would use any funds we donated specifically for metastatic cancer research. So we said, fine, we'll do it ourselves. We say that since 30% of patients are metastasizing for all cancers, they need to raise that level of funding to 30% of cancer research funds.
I must tell you, you ladies are such an inspiration, and your strength is remarkable to me. Remarkable.
Thank you.
If I could ask Kelly some last words that you would say for someone that maybe today or tomorrow is going to hear that stage 4 diagnosis?
I would say you're not alone. It happens to so many of us.
We want the patient to know that they did nothing to cause this. This can happen to anybody at any time. It is not their fault. It's not that they didn't do something. It's not that they did do something. Stage 4 breast cancer just happens.
I think I would add that we understand. And as Kelly said, we're here, we get it. We know that there are moments of deep sorrow, profound fear, and moments of, I've got this. I can live with this and make the most of whatever time we have left. We are all living on borrowed time. We've all passed that 2-year mark, and we want to help more people follow in our footsteps.
God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for more information on METAvivor and metastatic breast cancer and how you can help, visit our website. That's thebalancingact.com, thebalancingact.com.